I love Puerto Rico and I always have a fantastic time. Here are my top tips to help you get the most out of your vacation. You may already know this, but just in case, Puerto Rico is no different than visiting any place in the United States if you're already a citizen. This means you don't need a passport, but you can certainly use one for identification. You don't need a special SIM card or international phone plan. Internet works the same, mostly, and you shouldn't incur any additional charges. But this is definitely a different country, and it will feel that way. You'll hear and see plenty of Spanish, and you'll have opportunities to practice it if you happen to be studying. Even the street signs are in Spanish, so you get the best of both worlds. It may feel like you've crossed international borders, and really you have. There are a few things you need to know if you're arriving or leaving from San Juan International Airport. Regular cell phone service was a bit sketchy when I was there. I'm not completely certain why, but I've experienced this in other Caribbean countries. I recommend downloading any important information to your phone, including where you're staying. The last time I went was during COVID. They required a QR code proving you were either vaccinated or had recently had a negative test before they would let you in. Fortunately, I copied my code and saved it as an image. The friend I was traveling with was not so lucky. He couldn't get the website up and had to stand in a very long line to leave the airport, and he was required to send his results to the government within 48 hours of arriving. You no longer have to do this in Puerto Rico. However, it's still good advice. Whether you need to prove that you've had certain vaccinations or show medical status, remember to download all that information to your phone. You never know when you'll have to pull it up. Here's another tip. Head to the taxi queue as soon as you get your bag. If several planes have landed at once, it takes a long time to get a taxi. Finally, when you leave, remember to pass your bags through the agricultural scan. There are certain things you can't bring back to the US. This requirement may not be completely obvious if you make a beeline straight to check-in. Even if you're checking your bags, they have to have that stamp of approval before the airline will take them. It only takes a few minutes, but be sure to do it first. It's in a little area off to the side and easy to miss if you're in a hurry or distracted. And now to the fun part. Be sure to check out the cruise port terminal. It's more upscale, with lots of great places to eat and shop. It's touristy and busy, but close to Old San Juan. If you enjoy gambling, there are casinos right inside the hotels there. You'll find upscale restaurants and artsy diversions. I enjoyed it, but I really couldn't wait to explore Old San Juan. It's not far from the port terminal. Viejo San Juan, as it's called, is an historic district, and although it can also be touristy, it's still a great place to visit. It has tons of fun eateries and bars. I even saw a sign with a 12-room hotel for sale. Any takers? It was hard to decide where to eat. Every place was buzzing. The vibe was unforgettable. I finally settled on a more authentic Hispanic place. I always prefer to try the local food. I'm a vegetarian, but I didn't see anything without meat or seafood on the menu. I asked the waiter and they made me a special vegetable mofongo. It was delicious. The drinks were strong and the tropical breezes were enchanting. Unfortunately, it was my last night in Puerto Rico. It's such a colorful place. The buildings are painted in beautiful pastel shades. There were regular tourist shops inside of some, while others had more unique offerings. I also discovered an outdoor market. There were so many booths to explore. I got a chance to try local desserts. Postres, galletitas, they're all delicious. I got several bags to take back home with me. However, the real treasure was a hand-carved statue I found. I asked what the statue's name was. He told me Papa Mandinho. I had to have him. He was so special to me that I carried him by hand through airport security and set him on the floor at my feet inside of the plane. Now I have something I'll always remember from my time there. Of course, no trip would be complete without going to the beach. I stayed at the Coqui Del Mar guest house and I made a whole video about that. There's a link at the end of this video, so be sure to take a look. The beach is only a couple of minutes walk from there. I ended up taking the long way somehow, but it was worth it. I got to see a lot of the local neighborhood. Unfortunately, there were many signs that they were still recovering from Hurricane Dorian 2 years before. I saw entire abandoned housing projects right around the corner from multi-million-dollar glass-walled beach houses with grand pianos facing the shoreline. What's nice about staying where I did is that Ocean Park is the closest beach. It's more where the locals go, and it was far from crowded. If you do want to venture to the more popular beaches, Condado Beach is to the left and Isla Verde Beach is to the right. However, neither one is really close. A taxi ride is probably best if you really want to see them. But Ocean Park Beach was clean and I had no problem finding a spot for relaxing. The water was a bit too cold for me and the waves were strong. There were also some rough rocks poking above the surface. Remember, there's no lifeguard, so be careful, especially if you happen to indulge in one of the potent cocktails from the nearby street vendors. Don't miss your chance to enjoy one, but watch out if you're planning on swimming and, like me, you happen to be alone. I love Puerto Rico, and I know you will too. I hope this guide helps you enjoy your time there. Be sure to check out my video on the Coqui Del Mar Guest House, and I'll see you next time.